You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're being quietly sabotaged. Not by your circumstances, not by bad luck, not by the economy or your upbringing or your boss or your partner, but by invisible forces living inside your own mind. Beliefs you don't even know you have. Stories you accepted as truth before you were old enough to question them. Assumptions that feel like facts, carved into your nervous system through repetition, reinforced by fear, protected by ego, and disguised as wisdom. These aren't just thoughts. They're silent architects. They design the boundaries of your life without your permission. They decide what you attempt, what you avoid, how long you persist, when you quit, who you become. And right now, they are costing you. Not in abstract terms, not in vague potential, but in real currency. Time, energy, income, relationships, peace, joy, legacy. The most dangerous prison doesn't have bars. It has beliefs, and you built it yourself. Brick by brick, justification by justification, excuse by excuse, all while telling yourself you were being realistic. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. What if everything you think is holding you back? Isn't? What if the real obstacle isn't out there? It's in here. And what if, just for a moment, you stopped defending your limitations and started interrogating them? Because here's the brutal truth no one wants to admit. Growth doesn't begin when you find motivation. It begins when you stop lying to yourself. Machiavelli understood this 5 centuries ago when he wrote, "The greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions. Not from enemies, not from fate, from themselves, their own cherished illusions, their sacred stories, their comfortable lies. And if you're still stuck, if you've read the books, watched the videos, downloaded the apps, set the goals, made the vision boards, hired the coaches, followed the gurus, and still wake up feeling like you're running in place, then congratulations. You've reached the edge of self-help. You've consumed enough content to fill a library. Now it's time to burn the library down and rebuild with truth. Because information without confrontation is entertainment. And entertainment doesn't change lives. Discomfort does. So let's get uncomfortable. Let's talk about the beliefs you're still clinging to. The ones masquerading as identity. The ones whispering, "This is just who I am." The ones that sound reasonable, but are actually rotting your future from the inside out. You believe you're not good at learning new things. Really? Or did you just fail once, twice, 3 times, and decide failure meant finality? You believe it's too late to start? Says who? The calendar? Society? Your high school guidance counselor? You believe you need to wait until you're ready? Until when? When the fear disappears? When you feel confident? When the stars align? Newsflash: readiness is a myth invented by people who are terrified to begin. You believe success should come easily? Then why do you admire people who struggled for decades before breaking through? You believe you already know enough? Then why are you still watching videos like this? You believe you should figure it out alone? Then why do billionaires hire coaches? CEOs read biographies, athletes study film, and artists steal from masters. These aren't flaws, they're filters, distortions, cognitive hijackings designed to keep you safe, not successful. Your brain didn't evolve to make you exceptional. It evolved to keep you alive, and survival doesn't require growth. It requires predictability, comfort, familiarity. So it will sabotage your ambition with stories that sound true because they feel familiar. It will magnify every failure and erase every win. It will convince you that discomfort means danger, that uncertainty means incompetence, that asking for help means weakness, that starting small means insignificance, that changing your mind means inconsistency. that doubting yourself means honesty, that staying the same means integrity. All lies. Beautiful, believable, culturally reinforced lies. And the cost? Let's quantify it. Not in motivational poster language, in real numbers. 5 years from now, if you keep believing what you currently believe, where will you be? Still scrolling? Still planning? Still waiting? Still comparing? Still justifying? Still saying someday? Still blaming? Still pretending effort equals progress? Still measuring motion instead of momentum? Still confusing activity with achievement? Still letting your internal narrator edit reality to match your insecurities? Still avoiding the mirror because you're afraid of what you'll see? Still protecting your ego instead of expanding your capacity? Still choosing comfort over truth? Still letting fear write your biography? If so, then nothing changes. Nothing. The world moves. Technology evolves. Markets shift. Opportunities emerge and vanish. People around you leap while you linger. And you stay exactly where you are. Not because you lack talent, not because you lack resources, not because you lack intelligence, but because you lack ruthless self-honesty. You lack the courage to look your own bullshit in the eye and say, enough. Machiavelli didn't write for the timid. He wrote for those willing to see power as it is, not as they wish it to be. And personal power, the kind that transforms lives, operates the same way. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't respect your excuses. It doesn't wait for your confidence. It responds only to action, to clarity, to confrontation, to correction, to consistency, to cold, hard evidence, not warm, fuzzy intentions. So let's cut through the noise. Let's expose the machinery. Let's name the beliefs that are bleeding you dry. Let's trace them back to their source. Let's dismantle them with logic, with data, with lived experience, with historical precedent, with psychological research, with unflinching observation. And then, and only then, let's replace them with something stronger, something truer, something that doesn't coddle you but compels you, something that doesn't soothe your fears but sharpens your focus, something that doesn't tell you what you want to hear but what you need to hear. This isn't another pep talk. This isn't another list of hacks, or habits, or morning routines. This is an intervention, a cognitive exorcism, a strategic dismantling of the invisible walls you've mistaken for permanent fixtures. And yes, it's going to hurt. Growth always does, but stagnation hurts more. Weaponize it. You've spent years consuming content. Now it's time to convert it. You've spent years preparing. Now it's time to perform. The version of you that exists on the other side of these beliefs. They're not hypothetical. They're possible. They're probable. They're inevitable if you stop sabotaging them. So take a breath. Tighten your grip. Look inward without flinching. And let's begin. Let's start with the most expensive lie you've ever believed. The one that has cost you more dreams, more opportunities, more income, more joy, more momentum than any other. It's subtle. It sounds reasonable. It even feels humble. But it's a killer. And it goes like this. I'm just not good at that. Not I haven't learned how yet. Not I'm still developing this skill. Not I need better systems or more practice. No, I'm just not good at that. As if talent is a fixed genetic lottery and you drew the short straw. As if ability is binary. You either have it or you don't. As if mastery is reserved for the chosen few who were born with some invisible gift the rest of us lack. This isn't humility. It's surrender disguised as self-awareness, and it's everywhere. You hear it in boardrooms. I'm just not a numbers person. In gyms. I'm just not athletic. In studios. I'm just not creative. In relationships. I'm just not good at communication. In kitchens. I'm just not a cook. In classrooms. I'm just not a math person. In startups. I'm just not technical. It's the universal get-out-of-growth-free card. And it's a lie, a convenient, culturally sanctioned, ego-protecting lie. Because here's what actually happens. Someone tries something new. They suck at it. They feel awkward. They compare themselves to someone who's been doing it for years. Their brain panics. It needs to restore equilibrium. So it whispers, maybe this just isn't for you. And instead of interpreting discomfort as evidence of growth, you interpret it as evidence of incompatibility. Instead of seeing struggle as part of the process, you see it as proof of inadequacy. Instead of persisting through the dip, you pivot away and call it knowing your strengths. Bullshit. You don't know your strengths. You've barely tested your weaknesses. Think about anything you're good at now. Anything. Cooking, writing, coding, public speaking, playing guitar, running meetings, negotiating, parenting, whatever it is. You weren't born good at it. You couldn't do it at first. You fumbled. You failed. You felt stupid. You wanted to quit, but you didn't. Or maybe you did, for a while. But you came back, and slowly, painfully, embarrassingly, you got better. Not because you had some secret gene, because you repeated, because you adjusted, because you studied, because you asked for help, because you cared enough to endure the humiliation of being bad before becoming good. That's how every skill is built, every single one. There is no exception. None. Not one human on Earth was born knowing how to code, paint, sell, lead, invest, write poetry, fix engines, or speak Mandarin. Every expert was once a beginner. Every master was once a mess. The difference? They didn't confuse early incompetence with permanent incapacity. They didn't let temporary frustration become lifelong identity. They didn't mistake the wall for the boundary, and neither should you. Machiavelli wrote, "Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great." He didn't say where the talent is great, where the resources are great, where the conditions are perfect. He said willingness, desire, hunger, commitment. That's the variable that matters. Not innate ability, not starting age, not educational pedigree. Willingness. And if your willingness is low, it's not because you lack potential. It's because you've been sold a story that potential is predetermined, that some people are just naturals, that greatness is inherited, not built, that if it doesn't come easily, it's not meant for you. All lies, beautiful, believable, productivity-killing lies. Let me show you what happens when you believe them. You see someone fluent in 3 languages and think, they're just gifted. You don't see the 4 a.m. study sessions, the flashcards, the embarrassing conversations, the months of silence because they were too scared to speak. You see an entrepreneur making 7 figures and think, they got lucky. You don't see the 87 failed pitches, the sleepless nights, the maxed out credit cards, the moments they almost quit. You see a musician play effortlessly and think, born with it. You don't see the blisters, the metronome drills, the discarded demos, the years of playing to empty rooms. You see the result, not the resistance, not the repetition, not the resilience. So you invent a myth about talent to protect yourself from the truth. That effort is non-negotiable. That excellence is earned, not awarded. That mastery is messy, and you'd rather preserve the illusion of not being that type of person than endure the discomfort of becoming one. The cost? Catastrophic. Every dream you abandoned, because it's not who I am. Every opportunity you passed, because I'm not cut out for that. Every skill you never developed, because I'm just not good at it. Every relationship you ruined because I'm not emotionally intelligent. Every dollar you left on the table because I'm not a salesperson. Every idea you buried because I'm not creative enough. Every promotion you didn't pursue because I'm not leadership material. All gone. Not because you lacked capacity, Because you lacked courage. Courage to be bad. Courage to look foolish. Courage to start before you were ready. Courage to persist when progress was invisible. Courage to redefine yourself. That's the real work, not learning the skill. Learning to tolerate the identity shift required to acquire it. Because here's the uncomfortable reality. You can't become someone new without letting go of who you've been. You can't expand into a larger version of yourself while clinging to a smaller self-concept. "I'm just not good at that" isn't a statement of fact. It's a tombstone. It's you burying a future version of yourself before they even had a chance to breathe. And the worst part, you're the one holding the shovel. So let's flip the script. Next time your brain whispers, "I'm just not good at that," respond with, "I haven't learned how yet." Not as a platitude, as a declaration of war, against complacency, against resignation, against the quiet death of potential. "I haven't learned how yet" means the door is still open. "I haven't learned how yet" means failure is feedback, not finality. "I haven't learned how yet" means you're a work in progress, not a finished product. "I haven't learned how yet" means you're coachable, curious, and courageous enough to try again. That's the mindset of growth. Not "I can't yet." Not "I'm not, I'm becoming." Not "it's impossible." It's unfamiliar, not there, special. They practiced. This isn't positive thinking. This is accurate thinking. Because neuroplasticity doesn't care about your self-diagnosis. Your brain rewires based on repetition, not labels. Every time you say, "I'm just not good at that," you strengthen the neural pathway of limitation. Every time you say, "I haven't learned how yet," you activate the circuitry of possibility. One builds walls. The other builds bridges. Which one are you reinforcing? Drop this in the comments right now. I am always growing. Say it. Write it. Mean it. Because from this moment forward, you're retiring the word "can't." You're evicting the phrase "just not good at." You're deleting the story that talent is fixed. You're installing a new operating system. One that says, skills are built, not born. Mastery is earned, not inherited. Excellence is a choice, not a chromosome. And if you're serious about this, if you're done letting invisible beliefs dictate your visible results, then prove it. Pick one thing you've labeled yourself bad at, just one. And this week, not next month, not when you feel inspired. This week, spend 30 minutes deliberately practicing it. Badly, awkwardly, imperfectly, without judgment, without expectation. Just exposure, just repetition, just proof to yourself that your belief might be wrong. That's how prison breaks begin. Not with grand declarations, with small, defiant acts of disobedience against your own mental warden. You don't need motivation. You need momentum, and momentum starts with movement, even microscopic movement, in the direction of truth. So move now, before your brain talks you out of it, before comfort reasserts its grip, before the lie whispers again. Act, learn, adjust, repeat. That's the algorithm. That's the antidote. That's how you turn "I'm just not good at that" into "watch me." Let's talk about the second most expensive belief you're carrying. The one that masquerades as patience, but functions as paralysis. The one that sounds responsible, but operates as resistance. The one you whisper to yourself like a lullaby when fear grips your throat and ambition stalls in your chest. It goes like this: "I'll do it when I'm ready." Calm, reasonable, mature even. You're not quitting. You're not giving up. You're just waiting for clarity, for confidence, for the perfect moment, for more knowledge, for better tools, for less stress, for the kids to be older, for the job to stabilize, for the market to shift, for motivation to strike, for fear to fade, for everything to align. And while you wait, while you polish your plans and rehearse your launch and research your options and optimize your setup, life moves on without you. Opportunities blink in and out of existence. Skills atrophy from disuse. Momentum evaporates into thin air. Competitors leap while you linger. And still, you wait, because ready feels like safety, like certainty, like control. But here's the brutal truth. No productivity guru will tell you. You will never feel ready. Not truly, not completely, not in the way you imagine. Readiness is not a state you arrive at. It's a story you tell yourself to avoid the terror of beginning. Think about every major breakthrough in your life. Every job you landed. Every relationship you built. Every skill you mastered. Every risk that paid off. Were you ready? Or did you start before you were ready and figure it out along the way? Be honest. You didn't wait until you felt 100% confident to ask for that promotion. You didn't wait until you were an expert to send that first pitch. You didn't wait until you were emotionally bulletproof to say, "I love you." You didn't wait until you were perfectly prepared to become a parent. You started scared. You started unsure. You started messy. And you learned by doing, not by preparing. Preparation is useful until it becomes procrastination in disguise. Until "I need to learn more" becomes "I'm avoiding action." Until "I need better equipment" becomes "I'm delaying exposure." Until "I need to get my ducks in a row" becomes "I'm terrified of failing." Publicly, Machiavelli understood timing, but not the kind you're thinking of. He didn't write about waiting for perfect conditions. He wrote about creating them, about seizing moments before they're ripe, about acting decisively when others are hesitating. The wise man does at once what the fool does eventually. He warned, not when it's safe, not when it's easy, not when he feels ready. Now, immediately, while the window is open, while the energy is high, while the stakes are still manageable. Because delay doesn't reduce risk, it compounds it. Every day you postpone action, you increase the cost of eventual entry. You fall further behind. You let competitors solidify their position. You allow doubt to deepen its roots. You give fear more time to build its case against you. And worst of all, you reinforce the belief that readiness precedes action, when in reality, action creates readiness. Confidence isn't a prerequisite for movement. It's a byproduct. You don't gain courage by waiting until you're unafraid. You gain courage by moving while you're terrified. You don't develop competence by studying until you're certain. You develop competence by practicing while you're uncertain. You don't build resilience by avoiding failure. You build resilience by failing forward. So why do we insist on reversing the sequence? Why do we demand certainty before stepping into uncertainty? Because discomfort feels like danger. Because our brains are wired to interpret unfamiliarity as threat. Because starting something new triggers vulnerability. And vulnerability triggers shame. So we armor up with preparation. We hide behind research. We comfort ourselves with planning. We tell ourselves we're being strategic, when really, we're being scared. And the cost? Immense. Years, not months, years, of potential rotting on the vine, of dreams deferred until they dissolve, of skills unlearned, of relationships unformed, of income unearned, of impact unlived, all because you were waiting for a feeling that was never going to come. Let me show you what happens in the real world. Someone wants to start a YouTube channel. They spend 2 years preparing, learning editing software, studying thumbnails, reading analytics guides, buying microphones, waiting for the right niche. Meanwhile, someone else starts with a phone camera, 0 subscribers, and no idea what they're doing. They post 3 times a week. Their first 50 videos are awkward, poorly lit, badly edited, but they keep going. They learn from comments. They study what works. They iterate. Fast forward 18 months. They have 100,000 subscribers. The preparer, still planning, still waiting, still telling themselves they'll start when they're ready. Another example, Someone wants to switch careers. They're in their late 30s. They tell themselves, it's too late. So they stay. They endure the soul-crushing job. They tolerate the misalignment. They suppress the longing. They watch peers pivot, grow, thrive, while they stagnate. Then at 42, they finally break. They enroll in a course. They network. They apply. Within a year, they land a role they love, at higher pay, with more meaning. And their only regret, I should have done this 5 years ago. That's the pattern, over and over. People waiting for readiness that never arrives, while those who begin before they're ready build empires, master crafts, transform lives, and leave legacies. So let's dismantle this myth right now. I'll do it when I'm ready is not wisdom. It's fear wearing a suit. It's ego protecting itself from the humiliation of being a beginner. It's comfort pretending to be strategy, and it's costing you everything. Drop this in the comments. I start now imperfectly. Say it out loud. Write it on your mirror. Tattoo it on your soul if you have to. Because from this moment forward, you are retiring the word ready. You are evicting the illusion of perfect timing. You are deleting the story that you need more before you begin. You don't. You need less preparation, less permission, less perfectionism, more action, more iteration, more exposure, more failure, more feedback, more adjustment. That's how mastery is built, not in theory, in practice, not in isolation, in motion, not when conditions are ideal, but especially when they're not, because ideal conditions don't create greatness. Adversity does, uncertainty does, imperfect starts do. So here's your assignment. And I mean right now, before you close this video. Pick one thing you've been waiting to start. Just one. The business, the course, the creative project, the fitness habit, the difficult conversation, the career pivot, whatever it is, and within 24 hours. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not after the weekend. Within 24 hours, take one tangible, visible, irreversible step toward it. Not a plan, not a list, not research, action. Send the email, record the video, book the class, make the call, buy the domain, go to the gym. Whatever it is, do it badly, do it scared, do it before you're ready, because that's the only way readiness is ever born. You don't find it. You forge it in the fire of action, in the friction of failure, in the repetition of showing up, even when every cell in your body screams to wait. This is how prison breaks happen, not with grand strategies, with small, defiant acts of disobedience against your own mental warden. You are not waiting anymore. You are initiating. You are not preparing anymore. You are performing. You are not planning anymore. You are proving to yourself that readiness is a lie, and momentum is the only truth that matters. So move, now, before your brain talks you out of it, before comfort reasserts its grip, before the lie whispers again. Act, learn, adjust, repeat. That's the algorithm. That's the antidote. That's how you turn, I'll do it when I'm ready, into, I did it, scared, messy, imperfect, and I'm still standing. And that changes everything.